Hey YouTube, it's Scarecrow Kaiser here. I'm going to do a deck profile for you guys today on my Blade Wing Dark Irregular deck. Kind of excited about some of the new Dark Irregular stuff that's going to come out in set 11. I've been tinkering with the deck. I like the deck. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot more than any other Dark Irregular build. Like, it feels like it plays smarter than them. This deck is weird. Very, very weird. Yeah, so let's get started. I'm going to start with my zeros. I'm running 2 Enigmatic Assassin. So I've gone through several different ratios of this card. This card is like amazing, like really, really good. I've gone through different ratios of it. I've tried running 3 of it. I've tried running 2. I've ran 3 of it and a different starter. The build at the moment that I like is running one of these as a starter and just leaving it in the soul till later, to making sure I have one, and then having a second one. It's ran pretty good for me so far. From what I've played with the deck and stuff and play, this is the most consistent way of playing the deck. The other builds are good, they aren't bad, but something felt like it could be more consistent. I wouldn't have enough cards to do other plays. So this is what I found is working well right now. For my triggers, for One-Eyed crit and 3 Night, for 7 crits, both of these are helpful to help you achieve darkness, as well as I like the One-Eye a little bit more, just for when I go into stride into my Sharat, and then I can use her for a draw and after attacking with her and stuff too. So 7 crits. Then I play 4 Hysteric Shirley and 1 other draw for 5 draws. This deck isn't really good at making its own card advantage. You often have to play the deck like it's a Vanguard center deck. So the draws help early game to build up card advantage and stuff. And once you get the deck moving, these cards are basically 15 shields, so the fact that they're draws doesn't really hurt you at all. This deck is a really good deck for playing them. You just gotta be careful when you get to really late game and have low deck counts about how you're utilizing your draws, because you could deck yourself out unintentionally. So you gotta be careful with them, but I really like them, especially Shirley. She's got a helpful effect. And then our last trigger is our 4 heal triggers, and they have a useful effect, so why not? For our grade 1s, we got 4 stride fodder, because they're good. Every deck almost always plays 3 to 4 of these, so I don't think that needs too much explaining. 4 Dimension Creeper, ideal ride. Kind of. There's 2 pretty good rides in this deck, but he's a 7k, and then he increases, you soul blast him, the soul charge 2, so you net +1 to the soul. Helpful, and he gives you darkness. Next I'm playing 3 Succubus of Avarice, the Perfect Guard. So this Perfect Guard is actually really cool, one of the coolest Perfect Guards in the game. Kind of like Esra-like. Its darkness skill is, if she's in your soul, retire grade 1 or less rear guard and add her to your hand. So she's cool. One way I'll often use her is if I have an Attic Assassin on the field that's just a 5k now, I can trade her off to get a perfect guard, which is pretty cool. Or if I have a draw I don't think I need. So she's cool that she can be recycled. You can get her back from the soul and stuff. and she's very recyclable because this deck puts its drop zone back in the deck, and then it gets soul charged. And one thing I have to say though is I could easily see an argument to play 2 of these, like cut 1, go down to 2. I in fact might do that myself. 3's been working okay, but this deck has such high defense because all your shields get bigger. You almost don't need a perfect guard. Like a G guard is basically a perfect guard in this deck. So I could definitely see going down to 2. Right now I'm at 3 and it's been working well, but I can see an argument to cut it down. And then my last grade 1 spot is I'm playing 2 Doreen the Thruster. When you still charge in your main phase, like using like your Dimension Creepers and shit, she gets +3, so she can get really big depending on what you're able to do in your main phase. And that's why you play her, just because she can be a really big card. Like, I've made this card hit for like over 60k and stuff before. I'm sure you can even do bigger pretty reasonably. She's a very strong card. And this deck not having a lot of rear guard like support, having like a rear guard that can just be a tank all by itself is very helpful. For the 2s, we're playing 4 Bladewing, grade 2 guy. He's like Dimension Creeper. He does the exact same thing, but if you call him and you have a with Bladewing, you can also soul charge. So he's a very helpful card for building up soul. You can call him in soul charge, or ride him in soul charge. Just good card. Next we have my favorite grade 2 in the deck, 4 Flying Librarian. She's kind of like, she's very, very similar to Flying Lapwing from Genesis. When you call her, you counterblast, you soul charge 2, and then if you have enough soul, you can draw, and if you have enough soul, you can also unflip. So she's very similar to Flying Lapwing in the fact that she's an 8k grade 2. You call her, you get to soul charge, and you draw, and you unflip. The only difference is she only soul charges 2, where Lapwing soul charges 3. But Lapwing needs you to have a copy in the soul. She just needs to have enough soul. She's very good. Calling her, giving you that +1. So she's like, she's just an 8k, but you call her, you get the soul charge, you get to unflip it, and you get to draw. So calling her, the fact that she draws, it's like she's like a floater. She just goes on the field. She's only 8k. She's not strong enough to attack her own, but she replaces the card that you just called out of hand to play her. So she's like a floater that gets you like soul charge for free. She's really good. If she was a 9k or could even hit 11, she'd be like amazing, but she's still really good. In my last grade 2 spot, I'm playing 3 Doppel Vampire. This guy's kind of like your Silent Tom. His darkness skill is he gets +5, and your opponent can't call grade 1s, or grade 0s, I mean, to block him. So he's a 14. If you team it with a 7k, he's hitting 21. Very often, I'll have one out. I'll call an Enigmatic Assassin behind him, make him a 34 column. If I get a crit, give it to him. Swing 39 with crit. You can't guard with 0s. Very good card. As I said, with like the Doreen and stuff, you don't have a lot of like rear guard potential in this deck, so the few rear guards you do put out should be really strong. For the grade 3s, playing 4 Sullivan. Sullivan is like the heart and soul of this deck. He is like amazing. He's what makes Bladewings good. When you ride him, you can choose a rear guard and move 3 copies of or less from your deck to your soul. So early game, if you have like someone like him out, you ride him and then move 3 copies to your soul, and then you can use their skill from the soul to soul charge more. I've even sometimes before, when I wanted to go for a kill play, had a what do you call it, Enigmatic Assassin out, and I wrote another Sullivan and then moved the assassin from my deck to my soul, and then I was able to like utilize them from the soul, since I got it like that, just to make sure I could kill that turn. His other skill, which is what makes him like amazing, is if you have 15 cards in your soul or more, all of your guardians get plus 10. He has to soul blast every time he's been attacked, but even that works out to be like an advantage. So this card makes everything big. Even your grade 3s have shield now. Your draw triggers are 15 shields. You don't have to. You're not that disappointed when you draw them. It's just, he's so good. And the soul blasting part, every time he's attacked, is actually a benefit. So you usually use it to, in the early stages, just dump your triggers into your drop zone every time you're attacked. And then we have a stride that will go back into this in a little bit. So, a very good card. Then we've got 2 Bladewing Reiji, followed by 2 of this guy, Riley. So Reiji kind of sucks, but we play 2 of them because consistency. And the reason we run him at all is because of Riley. Riley, is that how you say his name? Whatever. This guy is, if you have a grade 3 Bladewing Vanguard, so you can't be on grade 4, which is unfortunate. Otherwise, he'd be even like crazy good. When he's in your soul and your Vanguard attacks and doesn't hit, you can counterblast, discard 3, ride him from your soul. And when he attacks, if you have a Bladewing in your soul, Reiji, you can soul blast 15, and he gets plus 15 in a crit, or 2 crits. So he can be just as strong as a grade 4 attack. He won't have the triple drive, but so he's good. Like if you couldn't stride for some reason, like you just didn't have the cost, you can still do like a really big push with him. And often, actually, depending on like how the game's going and the size of my deck and stuff, I will choose not to stride just so I can attack with Vanguard, and then go into him and then attack with him. Use like my enigmatic assassins and stuff. Really strong play. So that's it for the main deck. Into the G zone. I guess I'll start with my G guards. 1 Germain. He's a big shield, and he gives your rear guards resist. He's helpful sometimes, actually, in the fact that he doesn't soul charge at all, and he's just a big shield. Usually the resist part doesn't matter, but sometimes it does, so he's a cool card. 1 of Vincent, our Super G guard, I guess you would call him. He's really big. He's practically like a no pass when you drop him, and he gets you a soul charge out of it. Usually, like one of these two, both cards usually end up resulting in like a no pass. But there are times actually where you don't want a soul charge, so you'll go for Germain, and then other times you go for Vincent. So, and then next we have 3 of the best G card, Boss Darkwings. When you guard with her, you get the soul charge 2, and then she gets plus 5. And in this deck, because of Sullivan, she's amazing. Like let's say you had 13 soul. You could guard with her, soul charge 2, and then Sullivan's skill is active and she gets bigger shield. And then you'll do your soul blast 2 at the end of it, so you didn't really lose any soul, and you got to be a big shield. She, if your opponent's attacking with their Vanguard for just 26, you can drop her, and alone that's a 3 to pass. Yeah, she's a very good card. For the G units, we have our main grade for the deck, T-Bolt. When you stride him, if you have less than 15, you shuffle your drop zone into your deck. Well, you shuffle your drop zone in your deck regardless, and which is why this deck is good. This card combined with Sullivan is like fantastic. As I was saying earlier, the fact that you have to soul blast every time you're attacked is actually almost beneficial. All those triggers that you soul blast every time you've been attacked, you'll have like a drop zone with like 10 triggers, and then it'll get to your turn and you'll be like, stride this guy, put it back, I won't deck out now, and now I just did like a super legion. Usually that's what we're using for. His second skill is also helpful. If you stride into him when you already had enough soul, he gets the skill that all of your rear guards get plus 10. So your rear guards that normally can't hit, like Flying Librarian, will be able to hit now. So, and when you stride him, if you don't have 15 soul, after you put your cards back, you can soul charge 5, which is a good way to like build up soul really quick. Yeah, really good card. I highly suggest playing 4 of them. You really do need all 4 copies. Next, our next grade 4 is the one we stride the second most, Sharat. I'm playing 1 of him right now. I really want to play 2, honestly. I'm probably going to put in a second one. He's so helpful in the deck for the sense that not only is like he board wipes, which is really good against like Luard and stuff, but not only does he board wipe and guard restrict, he's a really good way, if kind of like the only way, to get like Enigmatic Assassin you've already used back in your soul. So what I'll often do, play it out, is I'll do a turn, I'll push real hard, use my Enigmatic Assassins, and then the following turn I'll stride into him, attack with the rear guards, attack with him, put my Assassins back, and then I'll have them ready for next time. Yeah, he's really good. I'm probably going to play 2 of them from now on, I think. Next, we got 2 of our Guild Arrays. I'm only playing 2 because I don't stride him very often. He's just for situations where like I know my opponent's not going to be able to block this. They have a small hand. I saw what they drove check, and I know they can't stop the crit. And it's helpful against matchups like Link Joker and stuff where you don't really have the ability to utilize rear guards. Not you usually do, and I'm only playing 2 of them because I need room for other things, and I don't use him very often. So he's just kind of like a if I hit that right situation. Then I play 1 Great Demon. I've honestly never actually strode this card. He has his uses and stuff. If you have a bunch of like cards that can soul blast themselves and soul charge, you can stride into him, and then he'll get like all of your cards get really big because every time you soul charge this turn, he's going to be giving +1 to everything. So let's say you did soul charge 6, everything's getting a +6 then. So he can be really helpful, like if you have the right setup, he can be like a first stride that will like kill the opponent using like Enigmatic Assassins and stuff. I don't think I've ever actually strode him, but he does have his purposes. Just because I've never used him doesn't mean like he's not worth it. Then I play 1 Lyra. Sometimes I do stride her. I don't stride her a lot, but she's sometimes my first stride, for the fact that when she's on hit, you get to soul charge and draw. That's what I like about her. Sometimes like I don't have like what I need on my first stride. I need to like build up some stuff. The soul charge isn't as important, so I'll go into her just to get the draw off because I don't think my opponent's going to block it anyways. Similarly, for another first stride I often use is Demonic Frenzy. I almost never use them, but based on a certain situation, if your opponent has a rear guard that you like think has to die, he's a good first stride because on hit you'll be able to kill it as well as build up your soul. So you don't use him often, but in certain situations he's the right card. And then last, a card I almost never get to use. I do get to use it sometimes because this deck is so defensive and just doesn't die. The GB8. This card's really strong. Turns all of your rear guards like beefy, even like your Flying Librarians. He'll make them into 21s with crits. Very strong card. So that is it for this deck profile. This deck's pretty fun. I like it a lot. If you have ever taken an interest in Dark Irregulars, this would be the build I suggest you look into. It's only going to get better with the new support, like whatever his name is, Breadmouth, that like crazy good stride and stuff. So thank you guys for watching. This was a long video. Bye.